the Asheville police are in trouble because like they're the ones that there was like a medical station with some low grade medical supplies like bandages
Mhm.
and water and stuff like that. And the cops came with their knives and ripped open every water bottle and poured it on the ground and like smashed the table and shit
that's
like
so
that.
shitty.
Yeah, yeah. And like there's peaceful people and then some level beyond that, guys standing at tables handing out water bottles. And the police, they're just
Oh,
over
were
the
you
top
planning to
ass.
drink Dasani? Not today.
Yeah, yeah, dude.
You would think that like the higher ups would be like, all right, guys. I don't know if you've been following the news, but been a little rough lately on the PR front. So when we're out there, let's be respectful to John Q public because they're recording us and people are watching. All right, they're looking for any sort of misstep. Meanwhile, I wish I could pull it up like immediately as I transition. I watched a man get clubbed in New York City last night by like 6 cops. It was like Rodney King style. Clubbed.
Yeah, some of the clips you're seeing online right now are I don't know if you've seen the one you're talking about. I saw a bunch of cops just what seemed to me for no fucking reason macing like a group of people that were just kind of walking by, doing that like drive-by macing you'll see sometimes from cops where it's like we're walking one direction, other people walk in there and it's just pss, 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 that kind of shit.
I saw a cop pull a man's mask down so he could mace him.
Yeah, I
See,
saw
now
that.
you're spreading corona. Come on.
Scum
Get outta
had
here.
my favorite story. So there are people protesting peacefully, right? Men and women, at a line talking and just, like doing the whole peaceful not riot thing. And there's a kid there. And the kid's young. Don't quote me. I'm going to call him 5 or 7 or something like that. And the cop is pepper spraying him. And he does one of these deals like, shh, shh.
Oh, do you remember? I don't remember what like sit-in. This was a while ago. It was some protest, probably like 2014, 2015 at a college campus.
Yeah, in
And it was
California, Berkeley,
of, like,
maybe.
It may have been Berkeley, but it was a bunch of people sitting like Indian style, like everybody's arms locked, everybody's sitting in a line, and then like some fat cop just like lumbers over, just starts walking the whole length of it, waddling as he's spraying all of them, and it's like, dude, do you not realize how fucking horrible this looks? Nobody is watching that and being like, yeah, you show those kids.
Take it, hippies.
Yeah. So yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I
always remember that clip. The top.
You hate the looting enough that you understand some like harsh counter tactics, right? The tear gas, I'm out of my depth when I talk about beanbags and rubber bullets and stuff, but like you get it, right? But when they're like peaceful protesters with women and children and shit like that, and they're breaking out the pepper spray and the tear gas, it's like maybe you're over the top on this.
I hear you. You don't bring your kids to a riot.
Yeah, I get that. Like I would never bring my kids. I would never ever bring my kids. This is sexist, but I almost don't want girls there. What if like they're just less able to deal with like a stampede situation?
There's right, there's wrong, and there's a little something called common sense.
Practical, right?
And just exercising my own common sense. If my girlfriend was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the protest, and I'm like, one man's protest is another man's riot, just like one man's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist. They all get treated the same way though. Like they're shooting people with rubber bullets, they're tear gassing, they're pepper spraying. I've been tear gassed and pepper sprayed, and I've avoided rubber bullets like the goddamn plague, but I've shot them before, and I'm telling you, you could die, you could go blind, you could be scarred for life.
You see half a dozen people who get like their eye fucked out of their fucking skull. Like,
I saw a lady's back today. She was like in panties, but she sort of pulled them down so you could see the full effect. And it looked like she'd been shot maybe 8 times total, head to toe in the back. And they were bigger than paintball bruises, like apple-sized bruises, I would say.
I know you've seen Jackass. Do you remember when Preston, the fat one in Jackass, pulls his pants down and bends over and lets that guy shoot like it's not a rubber bullet, it's like this thing that's like that big, like a canister.
Yeah.
And it's not like a gas canister. It's just got a big rubbery tip, and then looks like a shotgun shell almost, but girthier than a shotgun shell. And you just load it in this thing and fire it. And it showed his ass the next day. He first of all, he's a very fat man, and even that fat man's entire upper back thigh and his ass cheek black. As
Yeah,
the
that's
night.
37 millimeter. He's getting shot with. That's a grenade launcher.
Yeah, well, I knew it looked scary, and he got hit with it so hard he didn't even like scream. He did that like,
That's kind of funny, bro.
Like when the shower goes all cold.
When I hear grenade launcher, I don't know quite how to interpret that, right? Because like that's a much lower velocity, but it's a much heavier projectile, I would assume. It almost seems like maybe I'd rather be hit with a grenade launcher sandbag than a shotgun sandbag. Maybe you tell me.
No, this I don't know though. I haven't
It
seen.
depends. I don't want to get shot with that 12 gauge fucking beanbag, man.
Right.
That shit is so rough. Like I hope they're not shooting people with those. I don't know what they're using. I've seen the designated grenade launchers that they've got, that like less than lethal launchers, and those look essentially to me like not an underbarreled grenade launcher, but like a designated less lethal grenade
Thumper
launcher.
from Modern Warfare 2, the Thumper-ish.
Yeah,
Like kind of like a thumper type situation. I don't know if they're shooting 37 millimeter or 40 because they're law enforcement. I would guess that they use 40, but I really don't know too much about like the higher end, less lethal stuff. I just know about the stuff I was always able to get, which was 37 millimeter or 12 gauge. That shit hits so fucking hard. I mean, it blasts through drywall. It dents your car door so bad you just want a new one. It blows right through a goddamn mannequin.
Might break a bone if it hits one close to the surface.
If it were to like hit like your arm right
like
here,
that's a good example, right? Or maybe a rib.
It'd snap that motherfucker. Oh, it'd break your ribs all to hell and back. Yeah.
Collarbone. They're kind of.
It could stop your fucking heart. It could crack your goddamn skull. It could kill you if it hit you in the eye. It just keep going. It hit brain. It hit brain.
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
someone was saying that the other day. I didn't think about it. Maybe it was in the hangout. Like I hear hit in the eye, and I think loss of vision. But actually, I don't think there's much behind your eye to protect your brain.
Not a ton. Not enough
No.
to stop that thing at close range. Now the thing is, like, they're supposed to be shooting a lot of this stuff at the ground in front of the protesters, so it ricochets up and hits them in the lower extremities. And they're not, because cops can't fucking shoot for one thing, and they're being jerks for another. I see a lot of them that look like they're having the time of their lives.
I'm troubled by that too. Yeah, I'm sure there are plenty of cops who wish this wasn't going down, but there are some that are like, "Oh my god, this is my dream come
They
true."
let me put on the suit.
Yeah, let
there's
me at
definitely
him.
some
Let me at him. I'm sorry,
LARPing
Taylor.
cops. I was saying, no, I'm totally agree with you. There's definitely some LARPing cops out there who are treating it like they're in an active Afghanistan war zone, just going ham. But this is something I was thinking of when I was like reading all the stories and seeing the clips. Have you guys seen the long range acoustic device thing they
Yeah.
use, or they say they're going to start using for protests or riots or whatever?
Yeah, that's
Like,
cool. They
I
should
don't
use that.
understand how it works, but apparently it makes a noise that is so it like fires in a direction, a noise that is so overwhelming that it scrambles your ability to like process stuff, and you just have to get out of it.
Yeah, it messes with your inner ear. It's there's a term for the type of sound. It's not ultrasonic. It's like intras. It's low. It's a low pitch. It's like super low.
Okay, I'm playing the
Infrasonic,
trailer's video.
maybe?
It sounds high, but I'm sure I'm not getting the proper effect on YouTube over my the
Yeah,
headset. Right?
Oh yeah, this isn't it. This is lame.
Oh, this
Oh,
isn't it.
those-
Oh, this is just a fucking loud noise.
oh no, that's. I thought it was gonna be that cannon thing that like
The boom, boom.
sends.
I think
Yeah,
I've seen something comparable to what Kyle's talking about on MythBusters, where they like searched for the brown note.
Yeah. It was. I think I saw it on Future Weapons or something like that. The other thing is they've got this microwave beam that like heats your skin up like really hot.
So I really like the idea of water cannons because I think they work super well and they don't hurt people like bullets and sandbags and stuff like that. The problem is they used water cannons in the 60s and they're associated with the bad people fighting against civil rights. You know, back when people were peacefully demonstrating for civil rights, the authorities used water cannons to stop them. So now that's their history in America. It's almost a bummer because of the tools we're using now. I think I'd pick water cannons over most of them.
See,
Bad optics.
I was actually
Bad
like,
optics.
It's horrible optics.
Man, I'll
but
tell you what. You better. I can just see one of those fucking white muscled up dudes who's 30 pounds overweight with his head shaved, sitting up there with his aviators and a fucking water cannon now, just
So
laughing it up.
You're 100% right. The optics are wrong, and that's probably why it's a bad move and we're not doing it. But man, I feel like what we're doing now,
I
if
hear
you
you.
ignore the optics, it's less damaging than the shit we're doing now. Taylor, you froze for a second.
The hose thing. So I was thinking on PKN where I was like, you know, it seems like hoses, like I know the bad optics and everything from civil rights, but like it seems like it would hurt people less than rubber bullets. And I don't.
And it would
seemed-
work. It would make me
Then
go home.
I
Even
watched
after you stop doing it, I'd be all wet. I'd be like, this sucks.
It would suck to be all wet, but I watched a riot or something in Eastern Europe where they used one of those things, and it was like the speed that water shot out. I don't know if it was the same kind we used, but it like they shot him right in the face with it. It like flipped his entire body twice.
He was
over.
daring them.
He was daring them to shoot him, and they did. And the video ends too soon, but that motherfucker looked dead. Like,
Yeah,
I
they
think the speed
blasted him.
is controllable.
double flip back and
I don't think
It
they.
looked
I think they
it
can
looked-
do it lighter and harder. I'm sorry, Kyle.
it looked like the fire hose they'd used to put out a fucking skyscraper, but instead they blasted a man that was 8 feet away.
yeah, and it looked like he died.
What if they just took a fire hose and they put it on the mist setting and just got everybody good and wet, and then they blasted
That's kind of funny.
and then they blasted them all with like kitty litter or something that would just stick to them and make them real gross. I'd go.
We're gonna get everyone wet, and then we're bringing in the big fan to make them chilly.
All right. How do we handle protesters in Raleigh? It's the old sugar cookie. Just blast them with soap and sand.
Do you guys know?
Dude, I would go home so fast. Like I don't like being
Oh, they're
dirty.
sugar cooking me. This is terrible.
Like I've never understood people with bad hygiene because like I've never gone long enough without a bath to like smell. Like I can work out real hard and I won't beat my deodorant. But I don't understand. So if they were to shoot me with water and then like something like grimy, like kitty litter or sand or powdered sugar and make me all sticky and gross,
Taylor's
Shoot you-
linking to
if you-
liquid
if you-
acid.
Yeah, if you want to mist people and really upset them, fill that tank with liquid ass. Now, if you don't know what liquid ass is, it is a prank spray that smells genuinely so bad you will not. It will blow your mind. How
liquidass.com/PKA.
Imagine trying to convince the police, like, what? No, like you're 4 blocks away from the riots. I wasn't even there, and clearly you have been.
you are under a.
I'm not putting him in my car.
You know what? You're free to go. And then it would be like all of Detroit smells even worse. Like, it doesn't smell like dilapidated buildings. It smells like liquid ass.
They're
Lots of backfighting over police's decision to use liquid ass in spray canisters.
there's 2 problems. Like one is they're attacking nonviolent protesters, sometimes with glee. You know, I've seen a bunch of different videos of people hitting people with shields who are cowering. You know, they're clearly not violent. They never were. They just didn't get in the out of the wrong area fast enough. And the police are beating the fuck out of them with shields, Captain America style sometimes. It's horrible. And that's a problem. The other problem is there are people who are bad and need to be dealt with, but they're overdoing that with the rubber bullets and shit. And sometimes they hit the wrong targets and stuff. These ideas are better. You know, if we stop looting by sugar cookies and water cannons and I don't know, stuff like that,
What about that glue cannon from Future Weapons? You ever see that?
tell me
What?
about it.
You've never.
It's-
Let me see if I can
I
find a
don't know
clip
if we
of
can
it.
watch Future Weapons on the show though.
I'll try to find like a bootleg version.
Okay. A glue cannon sounds fun. They need some sort of Batman netting projectile they could put over a
Those
crowd.
exist.
Yeah, I don't know if they're as big as the ones in my mind though. I need to catch a good 150 people at once.
I was working with this company that made 37 millimeter project. This will get one person, but it's really funny. I was thinking about making a video of it, but nobody would let me shoot them with it. But it shoots a net out of an underbarrel grenade launcher. You know, under your AR-15, you've got the option to net a man. And I was like, oh, we're gonna take this out of Texas and net a pig and then kill it. It'll be awesome.
I need something that drops one of those nets that keep trapeze artists safe. You know?
Oh, that's absurd. Okay, Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I can't.
Now we're on the same page at least. All right, yeah. That's what I'm going for.
I can't find the glue cannon, but imagine a giant high-pressure cannon on top of like a truck that shoots that foam sealant that you like fix your
grows?
attic with.
Yes.
And it'll shoot such a volume that the person will be up to their chest in moments, and it hardens very quickly.
But, wow. Is that safe to shoot into a crowd?
I saw them do it on Future Weapons.
Was it a crowd though? Like I feel
it
like
was a guy or two.
Suffocate.
Well, I mean, that might be why we haven't seen it on the streets.
Yeah, it's funny though.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. So they got.
I think more of the. It would be better if the things they did to counteract this stuff were funny and lighthearted, rather than like over the top and potentially maiming and deadly.
All right, fellow officers, they're about to march into the Whoopee Cushion District. Black it's protesters in Buffalo are drowned out from the sound of flatulence. Officers placed $20,000. Taxpayers are asking if this is prudent. You know, I pay my taxes every year, and I look on the TV, and it's just fart noises.
We're going live with Joe of Joe's Joke Shop, who's thrilled with the measure.
Sitting on a throne of gold. Yeah, you know, it's just the future. Protection.
I knew it.
Gold.
My wife said when I ordered 250,000 of those things last year, I was a moron. Look at me now. Look at me now.
Protests abruptly cease at 5th Street when protesters are encountered with a sea of fake dog vomit.
Yeah, because like the issue is like I can just imagine the police conversation like all right, get out there with your batons and your cannons and your rubber bullets. They've got a lot of protesters out there today. Oh, really? What are they protesting? Police violence. Can you believe it? Yeah. Yeah, maybe take a softer hand when the reason they're protesting is because you're too violent.
I was reading an article on 538 today. It was actually pretty. It was about how police felt about police violence, and they don't believe it's an issue. They think that it's not real. That there are like the reason that I don't want to say it incorrectly, but like the reason that Black people are more likely to be victims of police violence is that they're more likely to have police interactions, and they just feel like it's not a problem. And the whole
Where was this?
On 538. They didn't. They they do the polls. That's their thing. They always poll people, and
Yes.